What's up, everyone? Ryan from Oakland Ghosts. We all know that the Deluge is an excellent synthesizer. It's got multiple synth engines. We all know it's an excellent sequencer. We all know it's a great drum machine, but I think a lot of people sleep on the sampler. So today, I'm going to show you how I use the Deluge sampler to chop breakbeats. Now, let me start off by saying I am not a breakbeat producer. I don't make drum and bass. I don't make jungle. Certainly not something I'm an expert in by any means, but I do chop breaks often in order to add texture to my songs, or, you know, maybe to use it as something that I'll sequence on top of, or just to reorganize a really cool break that I want to be the basis of my beat. So I'm going to show you how the Deluge can do that really easily and really fast. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to a kit track and we're going to do a new kit. And I'm going to go, I have, you know, my own sample library, so I'm just going to go into Ryan, loops, and for today, let's go to, let's see, how about Dusty Funk? Sure, that sounds good. Got beats. So these already tell me my tempo. That's going to be useful information in a minute. Why don't we look in the, let's go in the 95, shall we? Boom. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to look for some kind of cool break that we can chop up. These all feel pretty straight ahead to me right now. Let's go into here too. These just sound a little crustier. I'm going to try this one. Why not? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this down, and I can tell that that's a 2-bar loop. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to go to slice, and because it's a 2-bar loop, I'm going to cut it into 16 slices. So that's just going to make it even slices across the 2 bars, you know, basically 8 slices per bar, just for simplicity's sake. And I'm going to say, sure, let's go okay. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set my tempo down to 95. Because that's what the beat was at first. I'll show how we can redo that. We can redo the tempo later, but this is just to get started in chopping it all up. Now, the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit infecting tire, and then I'm gonna hit shift, and I'm gonna go down here to sample, and I want it to be cut, but I want all of these samples to be switched to cut, not just the one that I'm starting with. So I'm gonna hold effect entire, and I'm gonna go to cut, and I'm gonna say go. And now you'll see each one is in cut mode, which is great. And so here, let's just lay it all down on the grid for now, because I'm in simple bars. Let's make it 2 bars. All right, so that's the first. And we'll go down here, we'll do the second 16. And that should be all of them, right? Okay, so if I play it right now, it's gonna be the beat that we just listened to. Okay, but now here's the fun. Let's have some fun now. Go back to bar 1. We can rearrange these any way we want to make an entirely new beat. So I'm just going to totally randomly do it first and see what we get. You never really know. We can dial it in with some more precision in a minute. Let's see what we got for the first bar. So I think we need a snare somewhere. Maybe that one. Let's see if we have another snare. Sure, that one's a little different than this one, so. Oh, that sounds sick. I mean, I like that for a first bar. Okay, let's make a second bar of the loop. And we don't want it to get too radically. We don't want it to be too radically different, I don't think, from what we just had. Need another kick. Maybe even a double kick here. Or a hi-hat. snaresies. Let's hear what that sounds like. It's close. I think that sounds better. So now, as you can hear, because of the way I cut this, it still has some of that swing and some of that flavor of the live break, because the way that I cut these slices is literally just, every eighth, it just went across, pop, 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 pop. Really simple. I didn't cut it right at the front of the transient, right at the end of the transient. But you could even get a little more granular. This, I feel like, has a lot of fun to it, but let's see if we can do something like this. That's kind of fun. You can just chop it up however you want. I've completely rearranged this beat and made my own beat out of that long sample, right? I think that sounds pretty tight. So for the sake of this demo, I think that sounds pretty sick. Let's just emphasize that I could apply any of the effects to this, and I could change it around how I like as well, in addition to having crafted an entirely new beat out of that break. Now, let's say I was a drum and bass producer or a jungle producer, which I again will emphasize I am not. Or even if I'm not, I don't want my song to be at 95 BPM, which this is. Now, if I were to adjust this right now, you can't get much before it starts getting out. So what we do in that situation is we're going to resample. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold record and then hit play to resample. And then I'm going to hold them again to stop before the end. Boom. So now I just cut it to that perfect 2 bars, right? So now what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and mute the chopped break that I did there. And we're going to create an audio channel. So let's go to there. I'm going to hold this down and you just push the middle button here. Now it's an audio channel. Real simple. The cool thing about audio channels is by default, they adjust the tempo. They adjust to whatever the tempo is here. They'll automatically scale it and stretch it to adjust to whatever tempo you pick. So we're going to go in here and I'm going to hit Shift and Browse, which is this button here, third down. And it's going to automatically go to what I just chopped. It's just going to, good job, Deluge, right? Okay, so we're going to import that in. And now it's probably going to be louder because audio tracks are usually quite a bit louder than normal, but let's turn it down so we don't blow our ears out. And now here in this place, maybe I'll add a little bit of reverb. Roll a little cutoff down. I mean, this beat's already a little crunchy because I chose the crunchier one. So now the next thing I want to do, okay, so like I said, let's say that we want to adjust the tempo. All right, cool. Let's go up to what's drum and bass is often around in the 150s, 160s. Now that doesn't quite sound right, does it? I'm gonna open that cutoff back off. I'm gonna take the reverb off as well. That's because what's happening is, if you look over here at pitch and speed, right now they're independent. So even though the tempo is changing, the Deluge is trying to keep the pitch the same as the original beat. If you listen to traditional drum and bass, jungle and stuff like that, the pitch is linked. So we're gonna go to linked. And now let's listen. I mean, that's already sounding a lot more drum and bassy to me. Not necessarily the beat, but just the sound. So there you go. We've just chopped like an entirely new beat all ourselves. Here, I'm gonna go into the EQ and I'm gonna add a little more. I'm just messing with the tempo just for giggles, you know? Anyway, as you can see, that's how quickly you can just chop a break. We'll go back to the original tempo. That's the original that we chopped. Maybe add some delay. And this is an example of how I might mess up it a little bit just to kind of get it a little. So there you go. It's as simple as that. That's how you chop a break. Super quick, super easy on the Synthstrom Deluge. I hope this was helpful, everyone. Just goes to show you, the Deluge is my instrument of choice, even though it doesn't always look at it in my massive setup. I use this thing for so many different things, from sequencing to synths to drum machine to chopping breaks to using that sampler and lots of other weird ways too. I hope this was helpful. If it was, consider subscribing. It's a big help to the channel and we appreciate you guys to no end. Until next time, this has been Ryan.